Shalom. We'll get started here in just a few moments. All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto my power. Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Chakwadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. In his son's name, who the word in him they call Jesus Christ, real name in the Hebrew is Yahushua. Also give it praises, honor, and glory to the Yahweh Kakwadash, the Holy Spirit, which is the force and entity that makes this edification possible. I want to say shalom to all you sincere-hearted Akim Walk that you brothers and sisters make your body a living sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. I also want to give double honors to my beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and who rule well. And I'm the brother Osmo Walk here from the Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming back this morning through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah to do another lesson. Now, Lord's will, this lesson be found edifying unto the elect of the nation of Israel, as well as glorifying unto the names of my power, Yahweh by Shemal Shai. And before we get started, let me check my audio real quick, make sure we're good. All right. So I just want to get into the topic at hand this morning. As you can read the title of the lesson, it says, "Only great misery and sorrow is coming to America." All right. Only great misery and sorrow is coming to America. That's right, man. That's what's up on the menu. All right. For you Babylonians. Okay. As you spent your years in luxury, that soft life. Okay. Comfortable living, comforts, just having, everything at your command, everything at your fingertips. Okay. Well, Yahweh Shema Shah is about to replace all that. Okay. With the complete opposite. Complete terror. Okay. Destruction, chaos. All right, famine. All right, and that's what the prophets were set up, okay, to speak about, to prophesy about. Jeremiah 28:8. Okay, he says the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old have prophesied against many kingdoms of famine. As a matter of fact, let's open up that scripture here in Jeremiah 28, and I got two articles I want to get into. All right, concerning some of these geopolitical pressures, that's continuously to compound, which, now it's starting to affect Americans more and more. Okay, now everybody is starting to feel it. Okay, but it's only going to, grow and fester into, all right, just complete misery. Second Ezra 8:50, for many great miseries, all right, shall be done to them that dwell upon the earth in the latter time. Why? Because they walked in great pride. So Yahweh Shemal Shai, he's bringing all the pride and haughty looks down, man, right, to where only Yahweh Shema Shah alone would be exalted. All right, that's what's happening up in the earth, man. All right, it's not going to just stop with gas prices. Okay, here in the next few upcoming weeks and months. All right, you're the least of your worries is going to be fucking gas. Okay, trying to get fuel in your vehicle. All right, that's going to be the least of your worries. All right, here in the next few upcoming weeks and months, man. All right, it's about to be a time of trouble such as never was since there's a nation. And as the prophet Ezra says, what shall I do when these evils shall come? All right, so as we go into these particular things, starting with our beloved apostles and the men on down, as we go into these prophecies every day, we, look at the current events, globally, internationally, going through all these prophecies and, breaking it down, the chief thing that should be up on our mind as believers as we're, uh, being briefed upon all these things is, what shall I do? Okay, when these evils shall come. What is my mindset supposed to be like? What do I need to be doing right now? You see? So All right, the Lord has given us, the understanding, this understanding, all right, of prophecy, and Thawadi Halbashmal shot for that, but he's given us this understanding so we can be prudent, so we can, as we foresee the evil, we're supposed to hide ourselves in the secret place of Yahweh Shema Shah. All right. So this is Jeremiah 28 and 8. And like I said, I just got two articles I want to grab. But this is Jeremiah 28 and 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence, man. You see that? So that goes to show you that we have the correct message. Everybody else is ultimately okay. Even these so-called truthers, or red pillar, whatever you want to call these guys, right? These TikTok prophets, okay. Hell, even a lot of these other Israelite camps, man. At the end of the day, okay, yeah, they may call out particular things, but at the end of the day, their message, all right, the message that they're pushing forward ultimately still stems around, you know, Esau still being in power, the beast system still being, the power structure of the earth. Only this testimony that Yahweh Shema Shah has given unto us, the hopeful elect, is completely against, okay, this system. Is completely against the so-called white man, which is the biblical Edomites, as well as all these other nations, man. Okay, because we're prophesying that the kingdom of heaven, the throne of David, is about to be set up here on the earth. That's the next ruling government, okay, for all of eternity up on planet Earth. And in no wise can two kingdoms, okay, two governments, be in power at the same time. Okay, Yahweh Shai, he's not coming to ask Esau to get off the throne. He's going to remove this man forcibly, okay, with violence. What was that, Revelation the 18th chapter? For with great violence is Babylon the great thrown down, man. All right. So it's not going to be a smooth transition. It's going to be a very bumpy transition. It's going to be fierce, severe, harsh, cruel, man. All right. So I'm gonna read the next verse here, verse 9. The prophet which prophesied for peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord have truly sent him. So these prophets that's prophesying the peace, okay, they're not prophesying, okay, what Yahweh Shema Shah commanded us, man. Scripture says there is no peace to the wicked. You see? So it's gonna be made known whose words were correct. Okay, who had the correct doctrine. See? Now I'm gonna go here to this article. Like I said, I only got two articles. Let's see. I'll grab this one first. The one I used for the thumbnail. Um, this quote from an Iranian parliament speaker. And let me pull it up real quick. This is off of RT News. All right, RT News. It says Trump. He says Trump is dragging Americans into hell. All right, Iranian parliament speaker states. All right. So that's what he said. He says Trump is dragging Americans into hell. Proving what? Trump is that cruel Lord, that fierce king. Let's grab that in the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter. All right, he doesn't give a damn, which we understand and know that Trump, he's a pawn and a proxy, all right, for the elites. All right, but nonetheless, okay, he's the modern day Nebuchadnezzar. He's the modern day Pharaoh. All right, and Pharaoh, that's not an actual proper name. Pharaoh's a title, okay, which ultimately goes into a great house, which can be symbolic and used simultaneously or synonymously with White House. Okay. So the White House, okay, is where the modern day Pharaoh, okay, resides. Okay, which Washington, D.C. would be, okay, spiritually likening to modern day Zoan. Okay, with Zoan, that's where, that's where the elites, okay, or the upper echelons, the upper class, okay, in ancient Egypt would dwell, and that was the hub of the military. Okay, that's where the military stemmed out of, was Zoan, and then you had Thebes. That was like the spiritual hub. Okay, and the spiritual hub, you got you got Trump's spiritual advisor Paula White. That bitch, that cave bitch. Okay, that bitch is crazy, man. She's demonic. You see, comparing Trump to the Messiah. You know, so ultimately the Lord has Esau and all his counselors. Okay, his religious counselors, his technocrat counselors, all his war counselor Hegseth. Okay, all of them are confused and deluded, man. We are witnessing the power, okay, of Yahweh Bashar Shah, okay, working in real time, man. Did he not say he's going to confuse the councils of Egypt, man? Let me grab this. Isaiah, I'm already in it. Isaiah 19 and verse 3. It said, I'm gonna grab this in the NLT. Salakia. I mean, KJV hits hard too, and I like the GNT in this chapter as well. I mean, it really doesn't even matter. Okay, the point is made. The point is gonna be made, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemal Shah. Isaiah 19 and verse 3 in the NLT. Let's start at verse 1. All right. This message came to me concerning Egypt. Okay, and this is speaking about spiritual Egypt. All right, which Egypt, that's a Greek name. All right, which, okay, the Hebrew equivalent would be Montezarium, okay, which means double straits, okay, which is synonymous with captivity, bondage, slavery. You see that? And this is the main place where both kingdoms, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom, all right, is serving their final captivity together. Okay, in America, spiritual Egypt, pursuant to Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. All right, Joel the 3rd chapter, 2nd Ezra 15. All right, all you niggas, man, y'all about to realize this is slavery. Okay, and Esau is planning on doubling down. Okay, all right, with this new world order, and the Lord will allow him to get, he's going to allow Esau to advance to a certain degree with that new world order before Yahweh comes back and throw it down. Okay, but in the midst of that, man, it's going to be a living hell. All right, for every American, every Babylonian, man, every Egyptian. So it says, verse 1, this message came to me concerning Egypt. Look, the Lord Yahweh Shemal Shai is advancing against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud. That's happening in real time. Okay? Here you got NASA freaking the hell out, man. All right. They not up there going to the moon. All right. They up there trying to figure out, damn, man. Okay, what's all this strange phenomena, okay, that we see, happening in our solar system. They know and understand, man, that Yahweh Shah, okay, the son of the highest, okay, is coming back along with the holy host of angels to invade this place with his troops. They're not up there going to the goddamn moon, which they never went up there in the first place. All right, the Lord has set bounds for this man that he can't pass. And a part of those bounds, physically speaking, in the physical aspect, is the Van Allen belt. You can't get past that, you know? So Esau's just all over the place, man. All right, but this is how you know that, okay, he knows that he's at the end, because just like during the time of World War II, you had the race to space, between Russia and America, and America, faked the moon landing, and here we are in the times of World War III. He's doing the same thing, man, letting you know what time and season we in, bro. All right, and this war, okay, is going to be the last war, World War III. Yahweh Shah is coming back to end these wars, man, by violence. Verse 2, it says, Salakia is still in verse 1. Look, the Lord Yahweh Bashar Shah is advancing against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud. The idols of Egypt tremble. The hearts of the Egyptians melt with fear. And this place is just filled with idols, man. Okay? Filled with idols, these different religions. Okay, and it doesn't just stop there. Ultimately, the system that Esau has erected, this beast system, is an idol. Okay? The American way. All right? The image of the beast. Okay, what is an image? An image is an idol. And people are bowing down to the so-called white man's image. which is all rooted in the ancient pagan Roman Empire. Except this time, this nigga got technology. Okay, and Esau's technology has these people bound down, okay, to this image, man. And the image is speaking. He calls the image to speak, okay, in the form of, ultimately exactly what we see going on. All right, in real time, setting up this new world order. And people are bound down to it, man. See? So when Yahweh Shah comes back, he's going to bring all this to naught. Verse 2, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother. Oh, and speaking about that, okay, Trump is Trump is on his campaign, bro, just firing every goddamn body, okay, in his cabinet. People in the Department of War, okay, you got a lot of people resigning, from his cabinet. So Esau's against himself, and these Americans, they're against each other, man. So it's happening on a massive scale, okay, within, people's homes, all the way down to the White House. Hell, really starting with the elites. Okay, the elites, them niggas not on one accord. They're fighting against themselves. These elite banking families, the top 1%ers. Okay, Esau, he has a track record of being, okay, at odds against himself. Always. The beloved priest, Sha'ar out here in the Dallas camp, just did a breakdown, a very thorough breakdown through the spirit of Daniel the 11th chapter. Okay, and as he was going to that chapter, it just goes to show you the history of these Edomites, man, how they've always had a lot of infighting amongst themselves. That's because there's no peace to the wicked, man. Okay, so what makes you think that here in these times in 2026 AD, okay, that the top 1%ers, they're finally in, at peace with each other? No, man, these elites, okay, they are divided like a mofo, man. Okay, so with that, everybody is divided. You see, that's why they fund both sides of the wars, because you got particular elite banking families, okay, wanting one certain agenda, okay, and another, okay, another agenda, man. You see, so what is that going to bring for the rest of humanity? Complete chaos, hell, and destruction. All right, so let's continue to read. Verse 2, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province. Verse 3, the Egyptians will lose heart, and I will confuse their plans. See that? And you can tell, all right, that Yahweh Bashemal Shah, okay, is confusing the plans, okay, of these Edomites, man. Bro, look at Trump. This nigga's all over the place. One day, like Elder Ma'aka Allah out here in Dallas camp, bro. He brothers, we be sending information, and in the chats, to the camp, particular tweets, from Trump and all that. And Elder Ma'aka Allah has said, man, Trump is Trump is tweeting like a female because he's very emotional, which, I wouldn't be surprised if he got somebody, doing that for him. But nonetheless, like, bro, this nigga, he's confused. Like, he don't, like, one day he's saying, okay, we're gonna give Iran a 48-hour deadline. Okay, but then the nigga, bombs on the same night. They're all over the place, man. Okay, the Lord has this man, okay, in a snare. You see, he's got a very hard. He's got a. The Lord has hardened the spiritual Pharaoh's heart. You see, he's shitting on his allies. Like, what sense does that make, man? Okay, you're in World War III and you're standing all by yourself. The whole world is literally against you, man. Your former ally, the ones that used to be your allies, now they're against you. But why are they against you? Because the Lord put a spirit upon you, okay, to be against them. You see, and that fulfills prophecy, man. So we're looking at the hand of our power, Yahweh Bashemal Shah, working in real time. And mind you, remember, hey, we're still in the feast of unleavened bread. We're still in the time of the Passover, man. So all this is happening simultaneously, okay, as we're commemorating, all right, Yahweh Bashemal Shah, all right, delivering us, okay, from ancient Egypt, man. See? So we're in some heavy times, man. So let me finish this out in verse 3. The Egyptians will lose heart, and I will confuse their plans. They will plead with their idols for wisdom. All right. pleading, with their technology, trying to figure out, okay, what to do. All right. So let me go here to RT News. RT News. It says this is what the Iranian parliament speaker said. He said Trump is dragging Americans into hell. All right. He said Mohammed Bakr Qualibaf has dismissed the U.S. president's threats to bomb civilian infrastructure unless the Strait of Hormuz is fully reopened. All right, this is published on the 6th. So what's today? Yep. So this is published earlier this morning at 12:37. It says U.S. President Donald Trump's war with Iran is making life worse for ordinary Americans. Right. It's affecting your travel. Okay. It's affecting, your job situation. It's affecting you economically, emotionally. People's emotions, bro. People are all over the place, man. They trying to ignore it. Well, I'm not gonna watch the news. Ain't the news out? It ain't nothing but bad news. Well, but you're still being affected by it. Okay, whether you want to live in ignorance or not. Okay, so Esau is wearing down the minds of the people. Okay, with this war propaganda. Everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. Okay, you at the gym working out. Okay, you on the treadmill, and you got to, how they got them line that line of TV, rows of TVs, just all them TVs is on Fox News, CNN. All you just see is war, war, war all day, every day. You get on social media, war, war, war. You know, and so he's wearing the people out, man. See, but ultimately, this is Yahweh Shemal Shai. Okay, we are in the times of great misery, great sorrow. All right, and you people deserve it. Your ass just got done fucking Easter egg hunting yesterday, man. All right, here we are in the midst of World War III. Niggas still going to church, man. Dressed in them hot pink suits. Okay, all purple suits with them purple alligator shoes, man. And Steve Madden alligator shoes. All right, you a usher at your church, man. Okay, and then you go get a roasted ham. Eat. So you people, y'all deserve, you niggas, man. Hey, man, Jake has no idea. Okay, what they're walking into. All right, and the very simple, man. Jake is very simple. But anyway, and not just Jake. We say Jake, but I'm talking about all the tribes, man. Same thing with these Hispanics. Okay, some of my neighbors are Hispanics. You know, that's what I call them. They're not Issachar. They Hispanics. They some coons too. I could tell. But I saw them. Get ready for church service yesterday. Whole family all dressed up and shit. I'm like, man, look at these niggas, man. But anyway, U.S. President Donald Trump's war with Iran is making life worse for ordinary Americans. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bakr Qualibaf has said in response to ultimatums over the Strait of Hormuz in an ex, in an ex, expletive expletive in an expletive laden post on Truth Social on Sunday. Trump warned that Iran would be living in hell. Yeah, Trump warned that Iran would be living in hell unless the vital waterway is reopened by shipping by Tuesday, 8 p.m. And remind you, in the Middle East, they're a day ahead of us. So really, this deadline will end tonight. Monday night tonight. Around midnight. So, and there's reports that Trump has sent some airstrikes to Iran. Okay, last night. You see. As a matter of fact, that leads me to the next article. I'll read that. This is off of a news break, and I gotta look more into it. You know, but nonetheless, Esau's all over the place, man. He's saying he's gonna give him a 48-hour deadline, and he ends up, bombing him the same night. So you think that there's going to be any, negotiations and peace talks, successful peace talks out of that? Okay, when Esau has a history, okay, of war crimes and breaking, negotiations, and all the while Iran is seeing what Esau's doing with his own allies, man. So they know that Esau cannot be trusted. They've tried holding, negotiations and peace talks with, Trump twice, and Iran said, both of those times Trump he had commissioned airstrikes against them, man. So this thing is only going to escalate. It's not going to stop. All right, it's going to continue to compound. All right, these miseries, these sufferings is going to continue to compound the plagues, man. And so eventually it's going to get to the point to where it's just going to be unbearable. It's going to be over here. It's going to come to the states in its finality, in its fullness, man. And it's going to be unbearable for these people, man. So this is off of RT News. This was published a day ago. It says a massive wave of U.S. missiles hit Tehran last night, and Trump claims it eliminated many Iranian leaders. See, it says Trump posted a 67-second video on his Truth Social platform showing multiple missiles striking Tehran. The footage captured around half a dozen large explosions lighting up the sky, followed by smaller blasts. A woman could be heard yelling after one of the strikes, and the sound of the fighter jets was audible in the background. According to Mediate, Trump captioned the video with many of Iran's military leaders who have led them poorly and unwisely are terminated, along with much else, with this massive strike in Tehran. All right, that's what he said. It says the strike footage came just hours after Trump issued a new 48-hour ultimatum to Iran. See that? So this strike came just a few hours, okay, after it was breaking news that Trump, issued out this 48-hour, ultimatum. So he said, man, fuck that. We're gonna do it now. All right. So expect things to continue to escalate here on the soils of America. These sleeper cells are being activated. All right. Okay. Drones gonna is talks that drones about to start hitting a lot of these power stations here in America. Okay, you're gonna have blackouts in particular portions of America. All right, as well as the price of. Let me check the. I usually try to get in the habit of checking the price of oil every morning. I forgot to do it this morning. I'll do it real quick. The Brent crude oil price. Let's see what it is this morning. It usually gives you a real time price. Come on. Uh, why does it not want to pull up, man? It's saying okay, yeah, right now. Yeah, right now it's at let's see, was this okay, that was 2 days ago. Right now, I believe it's saying it's not giving me the website I usually. I'm on my other phone, so but right now it's saying it's at $108.56 per barrel, which that's high as hell. Okay, before this war, I believe it was on average like around $60, $60 or $70, somewhere around there. You know, uh, yeah, I don't know why it's not showing me. I don't know why it's not showing me the real time price. Maybe if a brother can find it for me, Baba Kashab. But anyway, um, this is only going to escalate. All right. You know, prices here. Farmers is speaking about fertilizer prices going up. Okay, it's harder for them to purchase diesel. All right. So price of food. Let's grab this here in the book of Second Ezra, 16th chapter. We're in some very interesting times, man. But see, all this is going to lead up into the kingdom of heaven being established here upon the earth. That's why we, are watching these things, man, because we know, okay, the end result of it all. It's just not doom and gloom. We just don't prophesy about doom and gloom, and that's it. No, there's a reason for the doom and gloom. What's going to come out of the doom and gloom? Immortality, okay, real living, the kingdom of heaven, man, the end of wickedness, okay, a righteous regime, okay, that's going to be set up on the earth forever, man. Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me. Woe is me. All right, this is the prophet Ezra speaking, man. And we know he's a righteous man. He's a part of the elect. Okay, but he, as the Lord was, showing him visions concerning the times that we're in right now, as Ezra was seeing all this, he was like, yo, woe is me. Like, damn, who would deliver me in those days? Right? All right. And we know the one that's set up to deliver us is Yahweh Shai. But there's a code, there's a standard, okay, that one has to conduct his life, okay, in order to receive that salvation, all right, that deliverance, man. Putting on, therefore, is the elect, walking in the fruits of the Spirit. See, that's where these particular, things like that is overlooked, okay, by a lot of Israelites. They just want to, okay, come into this thing, okay, know the breakdown of Second Ezra 11, the 12 feathers, and okay, but they don't cultivate the fruits of the Spirit, okay. They're not cultured and nurtured by the elders, man. They don't care what the elders got to say, what the apostles got to say. See, but there's the Yahweh Shema Shai has set up these particular shepherds over us, so we can be cultivated in the right frame of mind and the right frame of thought, man. That is necessary for salvation. Okay, that's how deliverance is going to come, man. Okay, by the blood of Yahweh Shai. Okay, by the word of our testimony and not loving our lives into the death. It's a lifestyle, man. You see, and and to be real, Yahweh Shema Shai, he could have ended all this last year, year before last, year 2000 if he wanted to, you know, but he didn't. Why? Because everything is centered around the elect and their growth. You see, Ephesians the fourth chapter. It says, as a matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. And I gotta get ready for work here in a second. Everything is centered around the elect and their growth. That's why Yahweh Shema Shah didn't wrap this thing up yet. All right. But as you look across, okay, the church, man, okay, you could definitely see, okay, a lot of growth, okay, from the churches, man. You know, I'm speaking about, men here at Great Millstone and those that believe the same report, the same doctrine. The believers are growing, you know. If they weren't, all this wouldn't be happening. Once again, everything is centered around Yahweh Shema Shah, okay, and his elect. This is Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians 4 and verse 11 in the NLT. Now, these are the gifts that Yahweh Shah gave to the church: the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, and the pastors and the teachers. Their responsibility is to equip the Most High's people, okay, which is the elect, to do his work and to build up the church, the body of Yahweh Shah. Now, check this out. This will continue. So, this particular glory, Elder Yashwamba emphasizes how this is just one glory and one aspect of the ministry. But this ain't the final glory. All right. So, but this particular phase of the ministry, if you will, this glory, it says this will continue until we all come to such unity in our faith. And who is that all is talking about? All of the Lord's elect. All right. So this glory is going to continue. Okay. Starting with the apostles, daily pushing out the work, doing the videos, going out to the highways and byways. Us brothers doing the same thing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shai. This phase is going to continue until we all come to such unity in our faith. It says, and knowledge of the Most High Son. So there's a particular threshold and standard, all right, that each believer has to get to before Yahweh Shah just wraps this, Yahweh Shema Shah just wraps this thing up. And Revelation the 7th chapter goes into it as well. How the angels hold back those winds, okay, until the servants of the Most High are sealed in their foreheads, man. You see? And we're being sealed by this knowledge. We're being sealed, okay, by this ministry, man. Every day your mind is being more and more solidified, okay, with the truth. To where when the Lord lets go of these winds, you're not gonna be shaken, you know? You're still gonna be firmly rooted, okay, in your faith in Yahweh Bashar Shai. But that's all because of this phase of this glory that we're in right now. So take you know take we got to take this glory, this phase seriously, man. This is the foundation of it all. You see. But look what the majority of our people are doing with this phase. Okay, with the grace period. Okay, they're making provision for the flesh. Okay, Jacob's over here in the spirit of mirth. They're in the house of feasting. They don't give a damn, man. Okay. See, but the elect they're utilizing this grace period wisely, just like Noah did. You're going to be every listen. You're going to the elect is going to be remembered, okay, for all of eternity. All right, for what they've done with their grace period. Why do you think we still talking about Noah to this very day? Because we remember Noah because of what he did with the grace that was given unto him by Yahweh Bashemal Shah. So the same case stands for the elect. The elect is going to have that name, that honor, that praise, that fame, and the glory, okay, all right, for what they've done in their grace period underneath the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai. Because this grace period was ushered in solely by the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai and his resurrection, man. See? So this is to be taken very seriously, man. So it says, this will continue until we all come to such unity in our faith and knowledge of the Most High Son that we will be mature in the Lord. See, mature, growing up, okay? Not supposed to just be staying on the same level as you were when you first came into the truth, man. You know, this thing's about being fruitful. You know, bearing more fruit, man. Being mature, growing up. You know, and Jake is still stuck on that same, you know, elementary level when they first came into the truth. Okay, red solo cup and friend spirit, man. Just land parties every goddamn weekend. You know, just want to have fun. Okay, Hebrew rap albums and shit. No, man, you gotta grow up. You know, see, before the Lord's elect, okay, He's making sure that they're maturing. All right, it says that that we will be mature in the Lord, measuring up to the full and complete standard of Yahweh Shai. See that? Going to show you that there's a particular standard and threshold that we all got to come unto. Talking about the elect, that is, before Yahweh Shai wraps this thing up. But let me go back here to 2 Ezra 16. I gotta get ready. 2 Ezra 16, and I'm gonna skip down here to verse. I'll just read verse 18 and then skip down to verse 22. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And Lord willing, I'll do a lesson up on that part sometime this week. Okay, the statement or the question that Ezra just asked. Okay, as these things are, coming upon the earth, okay, in its fullness, what shall I do? What shall the believers do? Where should our mind be at? All right, now let's skip down here to verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, right? Okay, the basic necessities, your food, your clothes, your raiment, your housing, okay, fuel. Okay, for a long time, these things have been, relatively cheap and affordable. Okay, but now, okay, through these particular, wars that's going on and just economic distresses, okay, things are about to change, man. A lot of comforts are about to be lost. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So these plagues are compounding every day. Okay, we look and see how things are today. Well, okay, well, a month from now, things are gonna compound. It's not like it's gonna be taken away. It's gonna get worse and worse. Evil shall grow. All right. So yeah, man. So we're in some very heavy times. Great miseries are on its way, and we're gonna feel a lot of particular things, man. A lot of comforts that we have are about to be lost, and we got to be okay with that, man. For it is written, they shall not love their lives unto the death, man. All right. So I'm gonna leave it right there. I had a little bit more I want to get into, but I believe the point was made through the spirit. Abaratazah. You Akim and you Akwath were edified. But until next time, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory into my power, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Hakwadash. I want to give double honor to my beloved apostle, Elder Great Millstone, Muwaf Lababal, Shalom.